Now it's recording. And Tom is like this.
I know. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Thanks for being here. So today we have a couple things. We have an option to stick around. We're going to do power hour after, right? Power half hour after. And we're going to start with a couple important tips. This was kind of a last minute idea after just noticing some things this week that maybe coaches, not necessarily in this organization, but maybe yes, struggle with. And that is really helping people get to their why, getting them signed up with the right program that matches their goals, finding those goals. And by the way, all of that front work helps them say yes and have less objections. And then we want to talk a little bit about keeping them loyal and how to take care of them and how to make sure that they don't just feel lost in the sauce after they spend all this money with you. So that is kind of the direction for today, and I think it's super important. We've done a call like this before, but it was a while ago, and we've got a lot of new people in here, so we want to revisit it. And it's super perfect because everyone on this call has dealt with, in the last week or two, someone who purchased something from a coach and then didn't get any help. Now, maybe this was just an oversight by the coach, and they weren't trying to be disrespectful, but that's how I see it. I would feel disrespected if I went and spent a bunch of money with someone and then they ignored me. I would feel disrespected if they talked me into buying something and then all of a sudden later I found out that there was something that would have fit me better if they just asked me some questions on the front end. The things that we do on the front end will echo later. So if you guys take 5, 10 extra paragraphs in the beginning to ask questions, you're going to prevent a lot of this later. Does Dawn or Melanie have anything they want to add before I?
Yeah. And so it's not even just so much about like you ignoring a customer, because your customers aren't necessarily going to reach out after they've purchased a program. Like, don't assume that if they get their stuff and have a question, they're going to ask you. Like, even if you say, okay, once you get your stuff, if you have any questions, let me know. Like, you need to be reaching back out to them. Make sure they're in your challenge group so that you kind of have a way of seeing what they're doing. But especially if they're not in your challenge group or you're not seeing them like talking in there, there's a disconnect. Like, it's unbelievable how many people still, like coaches, because I know some of you have done this, not you two, but others, you get a program and you just open it up, and when we used discs before digital, you would just put in one DVD and then the next day you'd put in the next DVD and not know there was even a calendar.
I did that with 21 Day Fix. I just did it one after the other. I had no idea that there was a count. I read. So
it's really important that when Christine says, don't ignore them, like, also nobody's going to ignore them if they reach out, but make sure you're reaching out and making that effort. Make sure you guys, like, you can see the tracking number. Like, that's one of the first things I do when I have a new customer. I look at the tracking number and say, hey, I notice your stuff is supposed to come tomorrow. Or if I know that it was already delivered, I'll say, it looks like your stuff was delivered. Did you get it? Did you get a chance to open it? Just super simple. Reach out and ask them these questions.
Was it just my computer or was Dawn a robot? Cool. Dawn was a robot. It was awesome. I was like a robot. You're a robot right now. You'll see in the recording. It's very cool. Super cool. So number one, in your power hour, if you use the one that we kind of follow from Team Fitfluence, one of the things that you're supposed to do is check in with your challengers and coaches. This does not simply mean go in the group and create a post. This does not simply mean check in with the challenge group. This means actually reach out and individually message 3 to 5 of your customers and 1 to 2 of your coaches every day, depending on how many you have. The more you have, the more you have to do. And that's a simple, hey, how are you doing? Hey, I just wanted to check in. And Dawn is right. You can use that challenge tracker app as a gauge. I'm actually going to show you something. You can use, well, she was talking about the tracking number. You can use, she talks about this all the time too. I'm going to share my screen. Maybe I'll become a robot. It'd be cool. You can use your challenge tracker app to reach out to people, and there it is. And you can use it to see their progress. So look at, this is Dawn. Dawn is great. Dawn is really good. Look, she logs, you can see, she logs every day. Like come heck or high water. She logs every day. Does that mean I don't reach out to her? No. Did you know you can send them a message from here? You can, right there. See, send message. You can go right into your challenge group and go one participant after the other and send them a, hey, how are you doing message. This message goes directly to the app, into their phone as a message, as a notification. If you don't think they're checking in because you notice that they're not doing anything, you can go right back into Facebook or wherever you were communicating with them before and send them a message there. 3 to 5 a day, okay? If you're not tracking stuff, that's going to make it really, really hard. Hopefully you have a tracking method. Ariel, yay, hello. So 3 to 5 people a day. This is one of the best ways to make sure, hey, welcome. Thanks for being here. Checking, we're just talking about checking in with current customers. If you do about 3 to 5 a day, depending on how many you have, the idea is that once a week, your customer gets checked in with and your coach gets checked in with. I will admit that I don't get everybody once a week. I'll be honest with you. And that is my fault. Some of our customers, like Dawn said, will reach out to us and then we are responding and then that's awesome. But if they're not reaching out to you, that doesn't mean that they don't want to talk to you, okay? If you had someone invest in you, you need to reach out to them just as much as you did when you were trying to make a sale. Because you know when you were trying to make a sale every week or every other day, you're like, hey, how are you doing? And all of a sudden they sign up and you're not writing them anymore. You think they aren't doing that math? Come on. So that's that. Get out of here so you can see.
This is also hugely important if you know they've purchased Shakeology.
Yes.
Especially if you see, I love that that's like Canadian flavor. Do you see how they spell flavor?
Yes, flavor.
Sorry. But it's super important, especially if you know they have Shakeology, because I know the first time I got Shakeology, I threw it in a shaker cup and drank it and was like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't know. And so you've got customers that aren't necessarily going to, some of them won't tell you that they just don't like it, so they're just not drinking it. Right? So, yeah, I know. I got to check in with Megan.
No, this was my Megan.
No, that's not.
Oh,
no.
You're Snyder. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was my Megan Nielsen. Either way, but this is a good example. And this customer could not be on Shakeology, but this is how Dawn knows, like, hey, something's wrong. Red light.
So you want to make sure, and you also want to make sure that you're communicating with them if they're not logging it and they're still getting it. Because you don't want your customers, as a coach, you do not want them to have a backlog of Shakeology. Couple things can happen, but the worst ever is when they return 3 bags at once because they weren't drinking it. And so all of a sudden they're like, I have all this, because guess what? If they return it, you don't get commission, which means they take out of your future commission. You want to make sure that people are using it. If they're having too much, talk to them. Now it's better because Beachbody sends an email before they bill you, and it specifically tells them how to change their flavor, change their ship date, and all that. But you want to make sure you're communicating and make sure that they're finding a recipe. Hey, how are you liking your Shakeology? Well, it tastes like crap. Oh, how did you make it? Like, follow up. Don't just say, oh, yeah, some people don't like it. Because I'm sure people have said that. So follow up and say, hey, this is my favorite recipe. Why don't you give this a try? I always tell people, throw it out to the group. Ask the group what their favorite recipe is. They'll tell you.
And then it takes the pressure off you because you're no longer being a salesperson. Your group is doing it for you. That's why it's important to have a challenge group going every month, all the time, like clockwork. So cool. Let's say, though, that that's not your problem. Let's say your problem is not keeping customers. Your problem is getting them. Let's talk about the front work, okay? Because I understand, I know what happens when you get someone who seems super excited and they're like, oh my gosh, I just saw Pio on the late night TV and I want to order it and I'm going to order it right now, but I want to order it through you. I want you to be my coach. And you're like so excited. And so you talk about Shakeology because you want to get them a challenge pack, and then they order and come to find out they have diastasis recti and they can't do planks. They can't do crunchies. They can't do sit-ups. Pio is the worst program for them. They should have done, they should have done Insanity over PIO because there's a lot less planks in that. So what we need to always make sure we do is chickadee check ourselves, even if we're excited, even if we think they're excited, and get to their goals. Find out their struggles, because if you have a conversation with them, you can find out that they have diastasis erecti or they have a knee trouble, and so Insanity would not be right. And luckily now we have the on-demand option, the all-access pass. So if they pick a program in the beginning, they can switch. But you still need to get to their goals, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to say, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose it by the end of March. I'm really excited. Let's do this. And you send them the link, and then they realize it's $199, and they're like, 10 pounds, $200, 10 pounds, $200. So your job, instead of focusing on that 10 pounds, when they send you that 10 pounds, you don't just say, okay, I can help you with that. You ask another question. And that question is something like, 10 pounds is a great goal. What does that allow you to do? How do you feel if you lose 10 pounds? What changes if you lose 10 pounds? And that's where you start getting to the things that money can't buy, that makes them think, oh, whatever it costs, I'm doing it. Because it's usually something like, I have my confidence back. I'm not ashamed of the way I look. I can keep up with my kids. I am around for a long time to see my grandchildren. It has to be about more than the scale. We say this over and over and over and over, and it sounds trite, but it's not. Because when you get people beyond 10 pounds, because they've wanted to lose 10 pounds for 5 years, come on. If you get people to that feeling that makes them excited, that idea that they can go to the pool and feel good about themselves, hi, Aspen, because they're healthy and happy and confident. And you know what the best part is? You get to talk about how in your challenge group, you don't just talk about working out. You don't just talk about drinking Shakeology. You talk about confidence. You give them posts, you work through their struggles, and you have their back. So you get them to fall in love with not just getting healthy, not just their why, but you as their coach. That's why you have to put a little extra in on the front end. And in that conversation, you can find out the things that they're going to struggle with. Like, for example, you can take 2 seconds to find out that they are lactose intolerant, can't have whey, and need to be on vegan Shakeology. Because do you know what happens if you don't ask that question? Hey, by the way, do you struggle with dairy? They're going to get normal Shakeology, and it's going to make them sick. They're going to pee out their butt, and they're going to think it's the Shakeology, and they're not going to want any part of it. Ask questions. There's no such thing as too many questions, okay? You're going to mess up for them if you don't. This whole coaching thing is all about the front work, and then it's all about just being there the whole way. Go ahead, Dawn.
The question that I ask all the time as I'm helping people figure out a program is super simple, what types of, when you work out, what do you enjoy doing? Because I get people to ask me all the time, what program is going to get me the best results? And I give them the answer, and then I tell them, no, but seriously. And the answer is the program you're going to do. We know that the biggest key to the physical transformation is in the nutrition. We know that. And I tell them, look, your biggest key is going to be in the physical transformation. Again, it's an opportunity to talk about Shakeology and the nutrition plan. I tell them, every program is going to have a great nutrition plan. As long as you stick with that, you're gonna start to see transformation, but let's get to what it is that you're going to enjoy. And when they're like, well, I don't know, I'm like, okay, do you like cardio? If somebody tells you they don't like cardio, don't give them Insanity. Don't. Ask them, do you like, yoga type movements? Talk through PIO. If somebody wants a little bit of everything, you've got your fix extreme, you start to find out what they like. If they really enjoy dance, do you like hip hop music or country? Because let me tell you, that's a big deal. And so as you work through some of those, again, having the all access is a great plug, because you talk to them, hey, when you get this all access, if you try this program and it's not a great fit, we can figure out another one. Where in the past, those questions were so much more important. The problem is, and I was telling Christine the other day, my fear is that because it's so easy to switch programs, coaches are going to get lazy and not do the front work, because it's so easy. Just, oh, well, get it and try it out and see what you like. No, we want to set them up for success. And that's what's going to separate us from other coaches. Because other coaches are going to get lazy and they're going to leave people to figure out on demand all by themselves. And they're going to get lost and frustrated and not do the work and not see results and fall right off. So.
Perfect. Don't be sorry. I'm perfect. And that's such a good reminder. This is your opportunity to set yourself apart from other people and other coaches. But here is the painfully brutal lesson that I tried to share with you guys on Wednesday, and I'm going to reiterate today. If you're not inviting people, you're going to get stuck cleaning up someone else's mess, and you may not get paid for it. If you are chicken and afraid to invite someone because you don't want to look salesy, someone else is going to do it. They're going to sign up with someone else, and then they're not going to get the help they need because they should have signed up with you. So when you sit down to do your power hour and you look at that invite, you look at that, ask 3 people to join your challenge group, and you start chickening out, get over it. That's what I'm trying to tell myself because I'm cleaning up other people's messes. There are a lot of coaches out there right now who just want to get rich quick. Okay? I'm so grateful that we are in a group and in a team that doesn't, yes, we have financial goals. Absolutely. We're not unicorns, but we understand that this is about more than just money, and we want to help people, and we want to build a foundation that is on bricks. But we can't build anything if we are not talking to people and asking those scary questions. I will tell you, I sent an invitation to someone who I just barely met, and I thought she was going to, I really thought she was going to be upset. She thanked me. By the time we were done talking, she thanked me. Do you understand that, you guys? You are selling these people short by not inviting them. Do the work. Have the conversations. Okay?
The reality is, if you want to truly make money, you have to do this work. Those people that think this is a get rich quick and aren't doing the work, they might see a big paycheck in the beginning, and then guess what? They don't get paid anymore. It's creating a lifelong customer that's going to advance your business anyway. So it's like a double win, like a win-win.
I don't have anything else to add. Melanie, Ariel, do you guys have anything you want to add? Share, struggles, anything. Just, it's your time.
Seriously? Nothing?
I think you pretty much covered it. I need to work on more finding out the why. I'm really good at like last night I went through and I messaged all of my customers. Plain simple message, hey, just checking in, seeing how you're doing. What are you struggling with? What can I help? I learned that from somebody special. Someone else does that to me. So I decided to do that. And then, but I need to dig deeper with them. And when they tell me, or they tell me their goals, I need to ask more questions and find the why and find the deeper what's there. So that's a struggle I have. So that's good. I was just and I don't know, you can reach out to other people too that aren't directly underneath you. I've been with Carlin, I know she's working, and so I've been reaching out to a couple of people that are with her too, just because when it comes like her sister, when it comes from Carlin, it's her sister saying, hey, get in here. So I was like, hey, how are you doing? What do you want to do? And then maybe that might help Carlin, because in return, that helps me too. So, and I think I cracked her sister-in-law, so I'm like, so I emailed Carlin last night, and I was like, dude, I had no idea she was military. And now she's like, oh, this discount. I'm like, yes. So it's just about reaching out, and you can help other people on the team too. And yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Well, it's a perfect example of asking questions, because that's a question I ask people when they're like, wow, that sounds really expensive. Okay, well, let's start to, if they're hooked on the price and they're not still falling in love after we've asked all the questions and got that feeling, hey, well, here are some options. They're like, is there a way to get it cheaper? I'm like, well, funny you should ask.
Right. Well, and the funny thing is I wasn't even asking if she was military. Her husband he signed up for the all access underneath me. And so I was like, hey, I don't know if he happens to be military. She's like, well, no, he's not. She's like, but I was many, many, many moons ago. And I was like, well, that doesn't matter how many moons ago it was. Find your number. you could save, because they're buying 2 bags of Shakeology. I'm like, you could save 40 bucks because they have the all access too. So that's they figured that. But anyways, I was like, that's like 40 bucks a month. I'm like, dude, like seriously, you need this discount. Because she keeps telling me, no, I don't have time for that. The discount's not worth it. I'm like, no, now it's worth it. So
Absolutely. That's awesome. The other thing that's super key, and I was talking to Christine a little bit about yesterday, is reaching out to customers that you've had that have fallen off. One of my rock stars, like super huge rock star, she was actually a lead from Beachbody. She signed up as a discount coach for a little while under my husband and fell off there, and got rid of her coaching. But I mean, chick lost over 50 pounds. She was, doing amazing, and she's fallen off. And I will continue to reach out and check in on her and see how she's doing and let her know how much we miss her. And I left a voice message yesterday, and I was like, because she keeps kind of toying with wanting to come back, and she wrote, she's mad at herself for going backwards. And we've been there. Who hasn't been there for whatever reason? And so that was kind of, so in my message, it's like, hey, I'm going to continue to reach out to you because I care about you and totally miss you in the group. When you're telling somebody that you care about them, if you can do it in a voice message, it's a little bit more real. And just let them know, like, hey, like, we are still here. We are going nowhere. But you say you're mad at yourself for going backwards. What has changed? Like, where are you at? Like, just try to get a little bit deeper. Like, what is it? Is it a feeling that, and we finally get to that point where we're doing really well and then we don't think we're worth it? Or maybe something major happens. Shoot, Melanie, did you fall off for a little bit because there was some life circumstances going on? But especially if it's a customer that you don't see and don't know, like maybe they had something major happen. So it's important to go back to those customers that you haven't talked to and reach out and really dig and bring them back on. I'm so hoping that I can get her back because dude, she lost 50 pounds. It's like 50 pounds. And I don't know that she's gained it all back, but man, like I hate that somebody's out there feeling bad about themselves and then feeling bad that they went backwards. So we got to just keep asking and just look everywhere for your people. When you think that you've run out of people to be talking to, you never run out of people to be talking to. Maybe you run out of new people, but you got to talk to everybody.
There's really not a lot to add. So, if you want to stick around, we're going to do a power half hour, if that's cool with everybody. You do not have to stick around.
We don't need to record the power half.
No, yeah, we can cut the recording, and then if you want to stick around, we can do a power half hour. You certainly don't have to. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Ariel, I know you have rough internet, so I appreciate you being here. Do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, real quick. I've been struggling this month, and I know that I hit things for a good month, and then I fall off for a good month or two, and then I'm back on. So I'm struggling with that, and I know it's in my head. I know it's me, and so I'm working on getting on track with that. And the other thing I struggle with is following up with people. I do, again, good with that for a little while, and then I stop following up with people, and that's something that I'm really working on fixing.
Do you have, and I know it's hard to have a schedule because you have, 3 babies, 3 and under, but do you have a scheduled power hour where you're doing those specific tasks?
I made my schedule, but I have not followed through with following that schedule. So I think I made the schedule to try to change the way I do things instead of making my schedule to fit how I normally do things.
Well, there you go. I think you just nailed it. Like your life may eventually move into the schedule that you wanted, that you created, because that's perhaps how you would like to see your life going. But until then, take a kind of assessment of what your life is like right now, and then look at the times where you can feasibly make it work. And for me, I have to assess the tasks that don't get me anywhere. I have to assess the scrolling on Facebook or mindlessly wandering the house, not really doing anything, just mindlessly pretend. Just assess your day It's super normal. You're not the only coach who goes through that. Like we all, I mean, schedule a power hour and then we're like, oh, whoops, I just spent that hour literally looking for a graphic for my post. Whole hour. That was stupid. That was such a waste of time. So a timer is key. Give yourself so much time. When that timer goes off, wrap it up, pick it up the next day. Like, honest to goodness, that's going to be key. Finding your want to, because there are days where, like Dawn knows 2 weeks ago, I was like, I don't want to invite people. Oh, she's gone. It's okay. It's recording. Dawn knows 2 weeks ago, I literally said to her, I just don't want to invite people. I just want to help the people that come to me. And I had to eat those words because someone came to me who got screwed. So doing the stuff that you don't want to do, you have to have a why. Whether that why is about yourself, about your family, about your wealth, or it's about other people, it has to be strong enough to make you want to do the crap that you don't want to do. Just like working out, just like anything. So, and hopefully, hey guys, I'm talking. Hopefully she catches the recording.
I was also going to say, for somebody, you know, like Ariel, that, you know, her schedule is just really hard to figure out. Your power hour might not look the same as the power hour that we put on that sheet. Like, your power hour might be for an hour today, all I'm doing is following up with past customers. The next day, all I'm doing is following up with coaches. The next day, all I'm doing is inviting. The next day, all I'm doing is following up from those inviting. Just because this is how we kind of lay it out doesn't mean that's how your power hour has to look. There are a lot of coaches that Friday, all they do on Fridays is follow up because it's fun to have a fun name, Follow Up Friday. So on Fridays, they follow up with everybody they communicated with during the week, everybody that they added. So start to play around with and feel what's going to work best for you and moving your business forward. Just because we do it one way doesn't mean that's how you have to do it. And I know Christine and I are constantly tweaking what we're doing because we're not getting as far enough, as fast enough as we want.
Also, too, if Ariel's watching this later, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm on like my phone's with me all day long. If someone posts in Ripple Effect they're going to do a power hour or a power half hour, and they want people to join them, I'm down. I'll do it any time of the day if someone wants to hop on there. Because I think I feel like Dawn and I did ours yesterday, and I feel like doing the live powers, those have seriously helped me. Like trying to have other people join me, and by me trying to help other people, that is helping. It's helping me. It's so selfish, but it is. I mean, that's kind of like that's what
Christine loves when I watch her work.
Right? Yes.
Anybody, and I'm reading the 12-week year, and they talk about how accountability is really being accountable to yourself. But if you know me, I'm not accountable to myself at all, ever. I will not get up at 5 a.m., but if I think someone's going to be at class at 5:30, my ass is out of bed at 5 a.m., and I'm out there because I'm accountable to other people. So if I'm on a power half hour and Dawn's watching me, I'm working. Now, if I'm supposed to be doing a power hour by myself and I'm supposed to check in with Dawn, okay. But if I know you guys are watching me, I make it happen. And there's so much, and I think we've attracted many people that are that way because that's kind of what happens. So as far as our team goes, we aren't going to have to be so diligent with making sure we're loving on people and making sure that we're helping them and making sure that we're getting them the right program. We kind of do that naturally. We're going to have to work on getting our shit done and being consistent and following up. And that's why God gave us Dawn.
Yes.
That's why God gave us Dawn, because Dawn does that like it ain't no thing. That is what she does well.
Glad you think that.
It's true.
It's true.
All right, you want to stop recording or
Fist bumps.
Go.
Fist bumps. Thanks, everybody.